magic makers, and welcome back to the Metaphysical Apothecary. We are your hosts, Megan and Shannon. We are also known as the Scorpio Sisters, and we are here to explore the mysterious, magical, and the arcane. Today we're going to be talking about the place where magic and science intersect in the holographic universe. There's a question that people have asked from time immemorial, and that is, what are we? What are we made of? The simple answer is that we are made of flesh and bone, that grass is made of silica and cellulose. These aren't incorrect answers, but they're not complete answers either. So we're going to be talking about, at our core, what we're made of, what the holographic universe actually is, and what this means for people who practice magic. So, holographic universe is not a new concept, and it's also not necessarily a fringe concept any longer. Mainstream scientists have been talking about the possibility of holographic universe being real for years now. The idea behind it is that at its basis level, our universe is made of math. This is the one constant in the universe. Numbers exist. As the math exists, it wants to create patterns. And we see this in our physical world. In the Fibonacci sequence, we see this in the way that crystals form. We see it in the way that waves curl. So we know that this is true. The numbers in our universe want to form patterns. They naturally fall into specific patterns. These patterns create shapes that are called fractals. These are two-dimensional patterns that, because there is an infinite amount of math in the universe, they become more and more complex upon their edge. Continuously they're self-generating in this way. And if this sounds like a complicated concept, it's because it is. And I am explaining it in the simplest way that I know how to do that. So if there are any science-minded magical practitioners out there who can add to this conversation, I would be very happy for clarification on any points that I may be missing. I'm giving a cursory foundation so that everyone can kind of form a picture of the concept of holographic universe. So these fractals contain information, just like a compact disc contains information, and they produce frequencies that manifest as sound and light. And as the sound and light is produced from the fractals, which are two-dimensional, a three-dimensional universe, which is our universe, is created. So at our base, we are made of sound and light. At the atomic level, when atoms are excited, when they vibrate, they give off photons. Essentially, we're mostly empty space and photons that are vibrating.
We are creatures or beings of sound and light.
Yes. Exactly.
One of the main features of being in a holographic universe is that we can take a fragment, a piece of that holographic universe, and have the entirety within that fragment. With the holographic universe as at the core of understanding the dovetail between magic and science. One of the main features is understanding that if you take a fragment of the whole holographic universe, you still have the holographic universe within that fragment. And that can be seen through magical concepts such as above, so below, as within, so without, or vice versa, as without, so within. And that is leaning towards the holographic universe in a magical way with a magical perspective. I think one of the big things that people get confused about when they hear a holographic universe is they think about the holographic video games that are coming out, or, holographic CGI effects that happen in the movies. And it's a projection of something that may not be really there.
Uh-huh.
And as Megan has explained, the holographic universe is a projection of light and sound frequency, but it's not something that is projected that is not there. When you take a piece of the whole and then examine that piece, you see the whole within it. You have scientists who believe the whole is contained within the piece as is, and then you have others who think it's just the material.
Okay.
The piece contains the whole. When you're looking at the piece, you're looking at the entirety of the whole. And the picture of a rose and taking a small piece of that rose and zooming in, seeing the rose still there as it was in its whole entirety in the original picture.
Okay.
Another thought process that's out there is that the piece doesn't necessarily reflect or project the whole in the same state of being the whole is in, but is reflecting or projecting the materials that create the whole and thus are the whole in and of itself. The golden ratio and Fibonacci sequence, the moment you take a piece of that sequence out, you still have that sequence.
The sequence fills itself in.
Exactly. Even if you take the sequence at the 35 number stage, 35 becomes 1.
So it reproduces itself.
More or less, there is no beginning, there is no end to the fracturing, to the hologram. Just because you take a piece of the hologram doesn't mean you destroy the entire piece. It doesn't mean that you've created a second piece, you haven't copied it. It's that you're taking it and now able to see the whole in a smaller format.
Okay.
So it's a spiral. It doesn't stop going.
Okay.
So if you take a piece of that rose, for instance, you might need a high-powered microscope or CERN level scientific tools in which to do it, but you would still see the entire cellular structure of the rose within the rose petal. Just because you took the petal from the rose doesn't mean you've copied the cellular structure. It doesn't mean you've copied the atomic structure to reproduce. It means that you have the atomic structure of the rose within that petal. You have the genetic material within that petal. You have the whole within that petal. It's just that our understanding of holograms tend to be images.
The essence of the rose was still reflected in the pattern of the rose. So
yeah, it's reflected in the pattern of the rose as is. You're not just seeing the material, you're seeing the rose.
Right, because the atomic material is the rose.
Yes. The rose itself is not what it looks like. It's not the flower image that we have of it. It is the atomic structure of the rose. It's the math of the rose.
Yes.
We just get to see the pretty stuff.
Yes. Which is great, right? It's wonderful for us, for our universe, that these projections arrange themselves in such beautifully harmonic structures and ways.
Or because the universe and the math of the universe arranges itself in such structured ways, we find that harmonious and structured and beautiful because we're a part of it.
Yes.
There's almost an appreciation of not only the external, but ourselves as part of the whole. That can be some serious self-confidence, self-worth, self-love magic happening right there if you start thinking about it in that way, that you are a part of this beautiful and harmonious mathematical structure in time-space continuum that is the universe, that is the holographic universe. And you are not separate from it, which means that you are part of it. You are it. You are a fracture of that holographic universe. And just because you have enough consciousness to be separated from it doesn't mean you're not also a part of it.
Right. We are made of the same materials, whether at the atomic level or the cellular level, as stars. Neil deGrasse Tyson says we're made of star stuff.
Yeah.
He's correct. When we talk about holographic universe, and Shannon just very eloquently explained how every piece of our universe contains the whole universe, we're not just a projection from a machine like a game would be or like CGI is. The universe in which we live is a result of the mechanisms of the greater cosmos. It's a natural projection. So whether you are a witch or science-minded person who believes that's a result of intelligent design, or whether you believe it's simply how the universe has chosen to arrange itself based on its core nature, both things are valid.
That's all we have on the topic for today. Thank you so much for listening in, and we hope you'll join us again next time. In the meantime, you can follow us on our blog for some more witchy wisdom, as well as check out some of our original art on Society 6 for sacred decor and more. Thank you again for joining us, and go make some magic and live your best life. Bye.
Bye, everyone.